I don't know if this one's going to go down too well with my mum, but it's about my aunt, so enjoy. I'm getting equal looks already, look at that. I was never a believer in fairy tales, or fairy godmothers, or happy endings. There always seemed to be something wrong with the idea of them, because tale is defined as a falsehood, better known as a lie, and of course fairies needed wings so that they could fly, but I'd never met someone with wings. And there's something about the word ending that makes me feel one can never be happy, because as pointed out by Shakespeare, every life is a tragedy, it ends in death, not a wedding. But I grew up with godmothers who I always called auntie, that worked their own magic through love and stability. At the time I didn't know they'd stolen that title from someone who owned it by blood. Not an idea thrust into my mind at birth through a tenacious link created when I got written into a religion I didn't understand and never would. It took 16 years to discover the truth of this. And when I did, I was told I was unprepared to act on it. I was too young to understand the stories written in my own bloodline. Too naive to realise that the blood spilled in my granddad's lifetime was not so easily wiped away. Too impressionable to contact my auntie, who was a handful and reckless and could lead me astray. 2 years more waiting before I was deemed responsible enough to make my own decision, to write my own story. My eyes had been opened up to my hidden history, not fairy tales, but honesty, that painted pictures on the backs of my eyelids of the truth about my family, truths I didn't know if she knew. But see, my auntie is just like me in so many ways. Creative, smart, funny, and obviously gay. She's obsessed with Marvel superheroes, and we share the same music taste, and we use the same expressions, both vocally and by face. You could say we got on like a house on fire, but I'd rather say we built foundations, because we cemented the building blocks of our past into a whole new construction. There was magic in her words and love in her heart. And when I showed her shattered pieces from when mine was blown apart, she pulled me back together and advised me through the pain, hoping that I wouldn't make the same mistakes again. She cared for this relative in ways I couldn't explain due to the sacred connection of our family name. See, our genetics were encoded like a video game, but we both had the cheat codes to dig through the program. Finding similarities between our two game plans, we exchanged many stories, many photos, many words, before I finally got to meet her, my all-time favourite nerd. It was the 20th of December 2015. The bite of winter was sharp and mean, yet I ignored the cruel frost and the longing for spring when I first met the fairy who didn't have wings. I took my first photo of my very own aunt to capture the moment, to capture the start of so many memories already on their way, all tracing back to that very first day. So I took the first photo and I sent it to some friends who couldn't quite believe their eyes at the photo I just sent. They told me, "Your aunt looks like a fairy." I said I didn't understand, but I filmed my aunt's response to give my friend the upper hand. She said, "A fairy? How am I a fairy?" And I thought that would be all. Till she added, "If I ever meet them, I'll throw glitter at them all." She planned on getting fairy wings and hitting them with a wand. I thought, I guess the one that said it shouldn't really be so blonde. But my aunt hasn't met my friends yet. They're safe from the glitter rain until they finally meet her, which will be my wedding day. She doesn't know this plan yet, but I don't want a flower girl. I want my aunt in fairy wings throwing glitter down the aisle. Because since the day that I first met her, I knew she was someone I could trust. And when I told her about my moving, she said that she'd help me adjust, because I'm petrified of leaving, yet I can't wait to get away. And I know she knows the feeling that you get on moving day, and she sworn to me that going to uni isn't as scary as it seems. And she's been through all the moments that are fast approaching me. But that's not all she's helped with. She helped with my fear to fly by taking me to Amsterdam, where we both got super high. But she wasn't a bad influence when I met with Mary Jane. I chose to underestimate the power she displayed till head bowed over a toilet bowl. I coughed up my own blame. Now my aunt found this hysterical, but she told me to slow the pace. She wanted to look after me, not have me throwing up for days. So whilst I see her methods of protection, I can also see her childlike heart, and I can't help but look up to her and regret all the years apart. So I don't believe in fairy tales, fairy godmothers, or happy endings. But I have my Auntie Manda who will be here to protect me. She may seem somewhat reckless and be a bad influence at times, but I'm so glad that I found her, this fairy aunt of mine.